How's it going, everybody? So today I have for you a new build, and I'm going to stop doing that base building scale thingy because that's kind of stupid. But so starting it off, to the right of our base or the entrance, we have a flank position. So what this pretty much does is I put it near the door because most people are going to start blowing through the door, and if they don't blow through this room and they're just continuing through the base, it could really do good to sneak up behind them with the shotgun and blast them. So yeah, that'd be really beneficial to do. So continuing through the doorways, we have a double layer, and yes, I am using overlapping foundations, and I'm pretty late on the strategy. I've actually known about this for a long time, but I didn't really want to do a video on it because I had other videos planned and I was just way too lazy to do it. So here is your starter one by one. This is what you'll start with at the beginning of wipe, and I think it's pretty cool. It's nothing real special, but it's pretty much got everything you need for the first day or the first hour or whatever till you can get the entire thing set up. So up the ladder hatch, this thing is ladder hatches, so it is going to get a little cramped, and there's a burning Pookie Bear that I thought was pretty funny. Sacrifice it. And in here are 3 bags, so this is a 3 to 5 man base. I wouldn't recommend having 5 because it would be a little crowded, but if you would manage to be able to do that, and some people would be more offline, then yeah, sure, you can have 5. But that small crate is pretty much just another flank position, and I'm just going to let the Pookie burn. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably going to go back down and turn it off because it just flickers lights everywhere. So let me close that door and let's get up here. So this will be your utility room, and well, I split this into 2 halves, and starting it off we have a dump chest location. These are just strictly just extra chests, and down here these are, well, I'm going to show you an example. What happens if you shoot it is all the loot gets despawned behind the honeycomb. I'm just being an idiot. I'm like, how much bullets does this thing take? It's a small box, you know? And then there goes all the loot, despawn behind a honeycomb, and they won't be able to get to it. So rip if they try raiding that while it has a code lock on it. And here is the king's room with the TV on. Yeah, he's been watching some sick crap in there. And here are your research table and repair bench, along with a chest so you could store some of those blueprint pages and metal and things that need to be repaired, etc. Stuff like that. You know what I mean. So in here, another set of double layers. This is actually surprisingly not that hard of a foundation plan. It's just kind of, you gotta know what you're doing. And in here, these are your furnaces. This is going to be your main furnace room, and in these chests you're mainly going to, this chest in the actual pod is where you're going to store all your unsmelted metal and stuff like that, and wood, and the chests that are sticking to the wall is where you're going to put all your smelted metal once it's done, just so you can spread out some of your loot. So let's head back through the honeycombs and double layers, and I know these can be annoying to get through, which is why I say it's not really recommended to have more than 5. So let's head up onto the loot room. So I have a surprise for you, and I haven't changed up my loot room design in a while. My loot rooms tend to be really basic, and just they tend to just have just pods. That's just all my loot rooms are. So I wanted to change it up and have some free chests like this. So I'm just showing you this 4 chest on 1 foundation design that I usually use. And in here are, well, this is a pod, but this is like where you're going to store your good stuff in one of these. There's 2 pods, but I'll show you the other in a sec. There was a flank location in there too, so if you want to use that to your advantage, just put a gun in the chest. So here I struggled to even get through the doorway, and I placed it wrong actually, so I removed it. So sorry about that if you're a little confused on that one. So in here, this is going to be where the most of the chests are going to be, and I don't know how many chests are in here, but I know you can store a lot, as you can see. Lanterns in the middle, so this thing will be really well lit, and it actually looks pretty cool. I just love how they dim down the lanterns. It just makes it look so much nicer. So here's another flanking area. I love having these things. I don't really know how to explain it. Here is where you're going to put all your main loot. This is a double layered honeycomb, so it takes 4 C4 just to get in here, or 3 C4 just to get through the door. This is where you're going to put all your rockets, C4, gunpowder, sulfur, stone, stuff like that. You know the rest. So that's pretty much the gist of the loot room. Not very special, but I thought it was cool, and I like the open feel, and it just makes it less dense with all the doors, chests, It just overall just makes it easier to maneuver around the entire thing. But enough about the loot room, let's move on to the roof. So I put a little bit of thought into this one, and I have a few of my own designs and a few of repetitive designs that I've used in the past, such as the water barrels. So starting it off, we'll use the ladder hatches and the water barrels. So here you could shoot through the little thing, and you can use it as like a barricade to prevent them from shooting. You can shoot that little crack. I think I accidentally hit the thing though, and it overall just makes it so they can't just camp your doors. So with this base, you have roughly a 360-degree view of all around your base. And once again, those are the ladder hatches. And here are the water barrels. I use these a lot. I pretty much have saturated the idea of water barrels, so I've used them for a long time. So here's one of the things I haven't actually used before, but these Sandbag Barricades, it acts as like a bunker window against the heli, and I haven't realized that this was actually much better than not having them. So I've actually never been hit with using this strategy, so you should definitely give it a try. The doors also do the same thing, but not as well as these Sandbag Barricades. So definitely give them a try on any base you have. So anyways guys, let's move on with the pros and cons of the base. And alright everybody, so we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons of the base. Starting with the pros. Overall, it's a pretty cheap base, and it's amazing. So, the approximate size of it is a 3x4, and it costs around 85k that's the average amount, 85k stone, which you could definitely get that done solo if you put your mind to it, but typically this is for 3 to 5 members, so I'm going to leave it at that. It takes about 8 to 10 C4 to get to the center, which is amazing. Like, talking that it is a 3x4, or it's the approximate size of a 3x4, it is pretty cheap. It's got a lot of flank spots. I went over that in the base tour, and the roof is amazing, as you can see. Alrighty, and now let's move on to some of the cons. So some of the cons of the base include the honeycombs and just the gifs of the base. So the honeycombs and the foundations, I will admit, are a little annoying to set up, and you might have a little bit of difficulties with doing so. Next, there is only one ladder hatch entryway, therefore you might be a little bit cramped going up the ladder hatch, and as long as you guys aren't acting like mad dogs, you should be fine, but still, it will be a little bit cramped. Lastly, you will need a lot of room to build, and correction, not a lot of room, but you'll need a little bit of room to build. The only thing that you have to worry about is if it's on a hillside, which I don't know why you'd be attempting to build a base on a hillside, especially if it's to this size. My last note is about the overlapping foundations, and I'm going to get a question about this saying, oh, why don't you just rocket it? Well, the only weak spot of overlapping foundations to destroy both overlapping foundations is through the corner, and the only way to access the corner is going through the expensive route, which is not very smart in my opinion. So it's first day of wipe, and your friends are kind of just screwing around, and you decide to set up a small little base. So this would be probably your best bet of starting off is starting off this 2x1. So my recommendation, if you need to learn how to do wall stack, is I'll put some other video tutorials in the description that are helpful, but I also advise that you do slow down the video using the gear icon on the bottom right, because I do really recommend it.
I want your love, don't wanna borrow. 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 I want your love, don't wanna borrow.
How can someone who has no interest in music own a record store?
Give it up, yo. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. 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 Have it today, to give back tomorrow. Your love is my love. There's no love for nobody else. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. Don't wanna borrow. I want your love. I want your love. Don't wanna borrow. I want your love. Don't wanna borrow. I want your love. Don't wanna borrow. I want your love. Don't wanna.
So I'm going to be straight honest with you guys, this next part is actually really difficult, so I slowed it down for you a little bit, so you're welcome in advance. But if you still can't figure it out and you really need the help and you would still like to get the base up, please comment down below because I'd be glad to help you guys out. I just need the people just to tell me if they need help. I'll make another foundation video just to show you how to do it. But anyways, let's move on.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
So now it's kind of just getting your finished foundations set up properly and then honeycombing it up to your first floor. So getting your first floor here and honeycombs up, and then we can set up the second part of the one by one.
Is that you? Would you do that?
Alrighty, now once you get your honeycomb set up, or your first layer of honeycomb and your door set up, start on this little bag room.
For me again, because that's a wild sound. Give me a whole run on it. Give me a few runs on that thing. That is wild. Where did you come up with this idea?
So now the next minute or so of the video is going to be pretty much this third and loot room. So I hope I don't really need to explain this. It's kind of just preference. You can kind of go by the base template that I am using for mine, or you can just create your own and be original. All up to you. Preferences not really needed to be explained. And now, to finish it off, we have to do the roof. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and peace.